In the heart of the Galactic Empire, a grand council chamber buzzed with tension. The walls, made of shining metal and adorned with glowing symbols, echoed with voices filled with disbelief and anger. The leaders of the Galactic Empire, a mix of different alien species, had gathered to discuss the shocking news. Humanity had a secret fleet, and it was far more advanced than anyone had imagined. High above the large circular table, a holographic image of Earth floated, showing its beautiful blue oceans and green land. But today, the image was tainted with worry. The leader of the council, a tall, blue-skinned alien named Zarak, slammed his fist on the table, causing the hologram to flicker. "How could we have underestimated them?" Zarak shouted, his voice booming through the chamber. "Humans have kept their strength hidden for too long. This fleet changes everything!" Around the table, the other council members exchanged worried glances. There was Relak, a small, green-skinned alien with big eyes who looked anxious. "We thought they were weak. We thought we could control them," he said softly. "Now we see they are not to be taken lightly." Another council member, a fierce-looking warrior named Targoth, leaned forward, his red skin glowing with anger. "We must act now! Strike before they have a chance to show their power. We cannot allow them to think they are our equals." Zarak shook his head, trying to keep the council calm. "We cannot just attack. We need more information. We need to understand what they are planning. If we strike first, we may start a war we cannot win. But they have already shown us their fleet," Targoth replied, his voice rising. "What more do we need to see?" "They could be preparing to attack us as we speak," Rilak chimed in, his voice shaky. "What if they have allies? What if other species join them? We must be careful. If we rush into battle, we could lose everything." The council fell silent as the members considered this. Zarak took a deep breath. "Let us send a team to Earth," he suggested. "We will gather intelligence on their fleet and their technology. We need to know what we are up against before making any decisions." The idea of sending a team to Earth stirred mixed feelings. Some council members agreed it was wise, while others worried it could lead to more trouble. Rilak raised his hand. "But what if the humans are hostile? They might see our arrival as an attack." Zarak nodded, understanding the fear. "We will send a diplomatic team. We must approach them with caution and respect. If we treat them as equals, we may learn more without provoking them." Just then, a holographic screen flickered to life in the center of the table. A bright blue light formed a new image of a human soldier standing tall in his uniform. He looked confident and strong, holding a weapon that shimmered in the light. The council members stared, captivated by the display. Targoth's expression darkened. "See? They are preparing for war. Look at that soldier! They are ready to fight!" Zarak remained focused. "This is why we need to understand them. We cannot let fear guide our actions. Knowledge is our best weapon." As the discussion continued, a sense of urgency filled the room. The council members debated their next steps, knowing that the fate of the Empire rested on their decision. Each member realized that underestimating humanity could lead to their downfall. As the meeting progressed, they finally reached a consensus. They would send a small team of diplomats and spies to Earth. They would gather information about the fleet and observe human behavior. But little did they know, the humans were already aware of the Galactic Empire's curiosity, and preparations were underway on Earth to showcase their true power. The council chamber was filled with a mix of tension and determination. The future was uncertain, and the Galactic Empire was on the brink of discovering just how strong humanity really was. The council members left the chamber, their minds racing with thoughts of what lay ahead, unaware that they had just set the stage for a showdown that would change everything. Back on Earth, excitement filled the air at the huge spaceport near the ocean. This was no ordinary day. The military leaders, scientists, and engineers were gathered for an important mission to show the Galactic Empire just how powerful humanity had become. Bright banners waved in the wind, and the sound of machinery hummed as everyone rushed to get ready. In the main control room, a group of top military officers stood around a large screen, displaying a map of the solar system. Colonel Sarah Mitchell, a strong and determined leader, pointed at Earth's position. "Today is our chance to show them what we can do," she said. Her eyes sparkled with determination. "We need to make a statement that we are not weak, and we are ready to stand our ground." Beside her, Dr. Marcus Lee, a brilliant scientist with a passion for technology, nodded. "We've developed new systems for our fleet. The energy shields, stealth technology, and advanced weaponry will impress them, he said, tapping the screen to show images of the ships. The officers watched as images of sleek, powerful ships filled the screen. Each ship was designed with advanced technology, making them faster and stronger than any fleet the Empire had seen. The pride in the room was palpable. Sarah turned to the team, her voice firm. Let's make sure everything is perfect for the demonstration. We need to show them that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. As the team made their final preparations, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. Workers hurried around, checking the ships and loading equipment. Some tested weapon systems, while others conducted final checks on the energy shields. The excitement was contagious. Meanwhile, the media was also present, broadcasting live coverage of the preparations. Cameras captured the impressive sight of the fleet, and reporters eagerly interviewed officers and scientists. "This is a historic day for humanity," one reporter exclaimed, standing in front of a massive ship. "We are about to show the galaxy what Earth can do." As the preparations continued, Sarah gathered the pilots for a quick briefing. They stood in a large hangar surrounded by their ships. "Listen up, everyone," she said, her voice ringing out. "Today's demonstration is not just about showing off our technology, it's about proving our strength. We need to be united and focused." The pilots nodded, their faces set with determination. Each one knew they had a vital role to play in this momentous occasion. Sarah looked around at the faces of her team. "Remember, we are representing all of humanity. Let's make it count." Outside, the sun began to set, casting a golden light over the spaceport. The fleet looked majestic, shimmering in the fading sunlight. Each ship stood proudly, ready for action. The team worked late into the night, checking and double-checking every detail. Finally, the day of the demonstration arrived. The morning sky was bright blue, and the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. Thousands of people gathered at the spaceport, watching eagerly as the fleet prepared to take off. Families, students, and military personnel filled the stands, excited to witness history in the making. As the countdown began, the crowd grew silent. The energy was electric. Sarah stood at the control center, watching the screen. 3, 2, 1, lift off! One by one, the ships soared into the sky, leaving trails of white smoke behind them. The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices echoing in the air. The sight of the ships flying in formation was breathtaking. They twisted and turned, demonstrating their agility and speed. Dr. Lee watched from the control room, his heart racing. "Look at them go! They're flying perfectly," he exclaimed, filled with pride. As the ships executed their maneuvers, the crowd gasped in awe. The ships moved like graceful birds, showcasing their advanced technology. Some performed daring loops, while others shot straight up into the sky before diving back down. But amidst the excitement, a dark shadow loomed. Unknown to the humans, the alien spy had been watching closely from a hidden location. The spy took notes and recorded every move, plotting how to disrupt the demonstration. As the final part of the display approached, Sarah knew they were about to unveil their most powerful ship. The tension was high, and the excitement in the air was palpable. They were ready to show the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. With the stage set, the demonstration was about to take a thrilling turn. Would the humans impress the Galactic Empire and prove their strength? Only time would tell. As the sun rose over the bustling spaceport, a sense of urgency filled the air. Today was the day of the great demonstration, and every moment counted. Soldiers, scientists, and engineers rushed to ensure everything was in place. The excitement was palpable, as people knew they were about to show the Galactic Empire the strength of humanity. In the main control center, Colonel Sarah Mitchell stood with her team, watching the monitors filled with images of the fleet. Her mind raced with thoughts of the upcoming display. "We need to make sure everything is ready for the big show," she said, her voice steady but full of determination. "This is our chance to prove that we can stand toe-to-toe with the Galactic Empire." Nearby, Dr. Marcus Lee was making final adjustments to the ship's systems. He focused intently on a complex control panel, checking every detail. "The new energy shields are working perfectly," he reported, glancing up at Sarah. "We're ready for anything they might throw at us." Outside, the fleet was lined up in neat rows, gleaming in the morning sunlight. Each ship was unique, with bright colors and impressive designs. Some were large and powerful, while others were sleek and agile. The sound of engines humming filled the air as the crew prepared each vessel for the demonstration. As Sarah walked outside, she felt a rush of pride. "Look at our ships," she exclaimed, pointing to the fleet. "We've worked hard to get here, and now the world will see what we can do." Nearby, a group of pilots gathered, chatting and laughing nervously. Sarah approached them, wanting to boost their confidence. "You all are the best pilots we have. Trust your training and each other. Today is not just a show, it's a statement to the galaxy." One pilot, a young woman named Jess, nodded with determination. "We're ready, Colonel. We've practiced for this moment, and we won't let you down." The other pilots echoed her sentiment, feeling inspired by their leader's words. As the preparations continued, the crowd began to grow. Families, children, and military personnel filled the viewing stands, eagerly waiting for the show to begin. Excitement buzzed in the air, with people wearing T-shirts and holding signs that read, "Go, Earth," and "Proud to be human." Back in the control room, Sarah and her team monitored the crowd's reactions. "They're excited," Dr. Lee observed, a smile spreading across his face. "This means a lot to them. We have to make sure we don't disappoint." Suddenly, an urgent message came through the communication system. "Colonel Mitchell, we have an issue," an officer shouted, looking worried. "One of the ships has reported a malfunction in its engine. We need to address it now." Sarah's heart raced. "Which ship is it?" she asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "It's the Thunderbolt," the officer replied, pointing to a sleek fighter jet at the edge of the fleet. "We need to fix it quickly before the demonstration begins." Without wasting a moment, Sarah rushed to the Thunderbolt, followed by a team of engineers. They found the pilot, a confident young man named Alex, already working to troubleshoot the problem. "What's going on?" Sarah asked, looking over his shoulder. "There's a fuel leak," Alex explained, his hands moving quickly over the controls. "I'm trying to patch it up, but we might be late for the show." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "We don't have time for this." "Let's work together. I'll help you find the source of the leak." As they worked, the pressure intensified. The crowd was getting restless, and the countdown to the demonstration was already ticking down. The energy in the air shifted from excitement to concern. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Alex shouted, "I got it! The leak is fixed!" Relief washed over Sarah as she clapped him on the back. "Great job! Now let's get you back in the air." With moments to spare, Alex climbed into the Thunderbolt, and the crew hurried to run final checks. The ship's engines roared to life, and Sarah watched with bated breath. "You can do this," she shouted, her heart racing. The Thunderbolt soared into the sky, joining the other ships. The crowd erupted in cheers as the fleet prepared for its display. Sarah felt a surge of pride, knowing they had overcome a challenge together. As the countdown began, everyone held their breath. The moment was finally here. Would they impress the Galactic Empire? Would they show that humanity was not to be underestimated? With the fleet ready to go, there was no turning back. The demonstration was about to begin, and the world was watching. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the excitement around the spaceport reached a fever pitch. The crowd buzzed with energy, eagerly anticipating the demonstration. However, lurking in the shadows, a sneaky spy from the Galactic Empire watched with keen eyes. This alien, known only as Zorath, was on a secret mission to gather intelligence about humanity's new fleet. Zorath was small and quick, with dark green skin and large, shimmering eyes. Clad in a dark cloak that helped him blend into the crowd, he skillfully navigated through the throngs of people unnoticed. He had been sent by the Galactic Empire to collect information on the humans' advanced technology. Zorath's heart raced with excitement and fear. He knew the stakes were high. If he succeeded, he would gain honor for his people. If he failed, he would face severe punishment. While the humans prepared for their big display, Zorath used his small size to slip through the security barriers. He carefully watched as engineers checked the ships and pilots ran drills. The technology on display was unlike anything he had ever seen. He took notes on his small device, capturing details about the ship's designs, energy systems, and weaponry. "Impressive," he muttered to himself, his eyes widening. "These humans have worked hard." Zorath knew he had to act quickly before they began the demonstration. As he moved closer to the main control center, he overheard Colonel Sarah Mitchell talking to her team. "Today we will show them what humanity is capable of. We cannot afford any mistakes." Zorath listened intently, his fingers flying over his device as he recorded every word. He felt a sense of urgency. He needed to find a way to disrupt the demonstration to weaken humanity's position. Suddenly, he spotted a group of engineers leaving their tools unattended. An idea sparked in his mind. He quietly approached the area, careful not to attract attention. Using his small hands, he began to tamper with one of the ships, the Nightshade, which was known for its stealth capabilities. He removed a few critical wires, intending to sabotage its launch. This would not only embarrass the humans, but also give the Galactic Empire an advantage. As he worked, Zorath felt a surge of adrenaline. This will show them, he thought, smirking to himself. They are not as powerful as they believe. He finished his task and quickly slipped away, blending back into the crowd. Unbeknownst to him, Dr. Marcus Lee, who was checking the systems on the Nightshade, noticed something odd. He leaned closer to the ship's control panel and furrowed his brow. "This doesn't look right," he murmured. "There are wires disconnected." His heart sank as he realized the potential problem. "I need to get the team here now." Back at the control center, Sarah received Marcus's urgent message. "Colonel, we have a problem! Someone has tampered with the Nightshade systems," he exclaimed, his voice filled with concern. "What? How bad is it?" Sarah asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Bad enough that we might not be able to launch it for the demonstration," Marcus replied. "We need to fix it quickly before the show starts. Gather the engineers and get to the Nightshade!" "We don't have much time," Sarah ordered, her voice sharp and commanding. The urgency in her tone spread through the control room like wildfire. As Marcus and the team rushed toward the ship, Zorath watched from a distance, hidden behind a stack of crates. He felt a mix of satisfaction and dread. He had succeeded in causing chaos, but he didn't want to get caught. His heart pounded as he saw the humans scramble to fix the damage. The engineers worked quickly, trying to reconnect the wires and restore the ship's systems. They shouted instructions at each other, and tension filled the air. Sarah paced anxiously, knowing how important the Nightshade was to their display. "Come on, we can't let them down," Sarah urged, her eyes darting between the team and the clock. Zorath, still watching closely, felt the tension rise. He realized he had underestimated the humans. They worked efficiently and with determination, and it was clear they wouldn't let a little sabotage stop them. As the engineers finally began to restore the systems, Zorath knew he had to make a choice. Should he try to sabotage another ship, or should he leave while he still could? The demonstration was moments away, and the pressure was building. With a quick glance around, Zorath decided to retreat, knowing that he had gathered enough information. He slipped away into the crowd, feeling both relieved and anxious. He had a report to deliver, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the humans were more formidable than he had ever imagined. As the countdown to the demonstration continued, Zorath disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind a mix of chaos and determination. The stage was set, and the humans were ready to show their true strength. But little did they know, the spy had already left his mark. The day of the demonstration had finally arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. A clear blue sky stretched above the spaceport, with bright sunshine pouring down. Crowds of excited humans filled the stands, their cheers echoing through the air. Everyone was buzzing with anticipation, ready to witness something extraordinary. Colonel Sarah Mitchell stood at the forefront, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Today, humanity would reveal its advanced fleet to the Galactic Empire, and she felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "We have trained for this moment," she reminded herself, her eyes scanning the eager faces in the crowd. "We cannot let them down." As the crowd settled, Sarah gathered her team. "Everyone, this is it. We have worked hard, and now it is time to show our strength. Keep focused and remember your training. We are here to impress." Dr. Marcus Lee, standing beside her, nodded vigorously. "The systems are all green, Colonel. The ships are ready for action." He glanced toward the fleet, where rows of ships gleamed in the sunlight. Each one was a testament to human innovation and teamwork. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire's representatives were seated in a special viewing area, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. They had come to see if humans truly had anything worth fearing. Among them sat an imposing figure named Commander Xylock, known for his harsh demeanor and sharp judgment. He was there to report back to the Empire, and he had no intention of being impressed. As the countdown began, the excitement in the air intensified. The crowd erupted in cheers, waving banners that read, "Humanity United!" and "Victory awaits." Sarah felt her heart swell with pride. This was more than just a display. It was a chance to show that humanity could stand alongside the powerful empires of the galaxy. 3, 2, 1, launch! A voice rang out over the loudspeakers, and the crowd roared in approval. Suddenly, the fleet sprang to life. Ships ignited their engines, and the air was filled with a thunderous roar. Sarah watched as the first wave of fighters took off, soaring into the sky like a flock of majestic birds. The sight was breathtaking, and the crowd gasped in awe. As the fighters ascended, they formed intricate formations, showcasing their agility and speed. The pilots executed flawless maneuvers, twisting and turning with precision. Sarah smiled, knowing that their hard work was paying off. This was what they had trained for, and they were ready to shine. In the command center, Marcus monitored the flight patterns, his heart racing with excitement. "Look at them go!" he shouted, pointing at the screen displaying the pilots' movements. "They're incredible." Meanwhile, Zorath, the sneaky spy, watched from a distance, hiding behind a large crate. He had returned to the spaceport to see how the demonstration would unfold. As he observed the stunning aerial displays, a mix of admiration and frustration filled him. The humans had proven to be more impressive than he had expected. Back in the sky, the pilots began to showcase the advanced features of their ships. The Nightshade, now fully operational, performed a series of daring maneuvers, disappearing and reappearing in the blink of an eye. The crowd erupted in applause, their enthusiasm contagious. But Xylock, the commander of the Galactic representatives, remained unimpressed. "They're showing off their tricks," he grumbled to his aides. "Let's see if they can handle real combat." His skepticism hung heavy in the air, and he took detailed notes, determined to find a flaw in humanity's display. As the demonstration continued, the pilots transitioned to the next phase, executing synchronized formations that took the audience's breath away. They weaved in and out of each other, creating stunning patterns against the blue sky. The cheers from the crowd grew louder, and Sarah felt her heart soar with pride. Suddenly, a loud explosion echoed through the air, interrupting the cheers. Everyone turned to see a small ship in distress, struggling to regain control. Panic rippled through the crowd. "What's happening?" Sarah shouted, her voice laced with urgency. Marcus quickly tapped on his console. "It looks like the Blue Falcon is having engine trouble. We need to send help." He rushed to coordinate a rescue while Sarah's heart raced. "Get another ship up there," she ordered, her eyes glued to the struggling Blue Falcon. The pilots inside were experienced, but the danger was real. This was a moment that could turn the tide of the demonstration. As the Blue Falcon spiraled, the crowd gasped, holding their breath. Sarah felt the tension in the air. "Come on, you can do it!" she whispered, hoping the pilot would regain control. In the midst of the chaos, Zorath watched, a smirk creeping onto his face. This was the chance he had been waiting for. If the humans faltered now, the Galactic Empire would have the evidence they needed to undermine their strength. But he didn't realize how resilient humans could be. With adrenaline pumping, the Blue Falcon's pilot fought to stabilize the ship, determined to finish the demonstration. The crowd held its breath, waiting to see if the pilot could pull off a miracle. In that moment, all eyes were on the sky, where heroes were about to emerge. The crowd watched in awe as the Blue Falcon spiraled dangerously through the sky. The pilot, Lieutenant Jake Harris, fought hard to regain control, his hands steady on the controls. He could feel the adrenaline rushing through him as he struggled against the failing engine. "Come on, baby, hold together," he whispered, urging the ship to respond. Sarah Mitchell stood in the command center, her heart pounding. She knew the crowd's excitement had turned to fear. "Get ready to send help," she shouted to Marcus, who was already coordinating the rescue. He tapped furiously on his console, determined to keep the demonstration from turning into a disaster. "2 ships are ready to launch, Colonel," Marcus replied, his voice filled with urgency. "They're on standby. Launch them now! We need to get that pilot out of danger," Sarah commanded. She could feel the tension in the air, and every second counted. As the Blue Falcon continued its wild descent, a rescue ship, the Silver Arrow, took off into the sky, piloted by Captain Mia Chen. She was known for her quick thinking and bravery. As she climbed higher, Mia focused on the distressed ship, her heart racing. "Hang in there, Jake." "I'm coming," she said under her breath. The Blue Falcon veered dangerously close to the ground, and the crowd gasped in unison. "He can't go down now!" Sarah shouted, her fists clenched tightly. "We need him to finish this display." Meanwhile, Zorath, the sneaky spy, watched from the shadows. His heart raced as he realized this was the moment he had been waiting for. If the humans failed to save their ship, their entire demonstration would be ruined. The Galactic Empire would have the evidence they needed to prove that humanity was not as strong as they claimed. With a sly grin, he prepared to gather more information, ready to send it back to his superiors. In the sky, Jake fought with every ounce of strength he had. He could see the ground rushing up to meet him, and panic threatened to take over. "Come on, come on!" he shouted at the ship. With one final push, he managed to stabilize the Blue Falcon, but the engine was still sputtering. It was a race against time. Captain Mia was getting closer, her ship streaking through the sky like a silver arrow. "I can't let him down," she thought, pushing the throttle to its limit. The rescue ship was designed for speed, but even she could feel the pressure of the moment. If she didn't reach Jake in time, it could be catastrophic. "Just a little closer," Mia called out, determination shining in her eyes. She could see the Blue Falcon's tail smoke, and her heart sank. They had trained for emergencies, but nothing could prepare them for the reality of this situation. As Jake glanced at the control panel, he saw the warning lights flashing. "This is it," he thought, his heart pounding. "I have to make this work." With a surge of adrenaline, he pulled up on the controls and aimed for a nearby open field, hoping to make a safe landing. Just as he made his decision, Zorath sprang into action. He activated a hidden device he had placed earlier, creating a temporary field disruption. It caused a surge of energy that hit the Blue Falcon, making the already unstable engine sputter even more. "No! What is happening?" Jake shouted, feeling the control slip from his hands. The ship began to shudder violently, and panic surged through him. He had to land it now or risk crashing. Mia saw the Blue Falcon shake and felt a wave of dread wash over her. "No, no, no!" she cried, realizing something was wrong. "I have to get to him." With renewed determination, she increased her speed, desperately trying to reach Jake before it was too late. "Jake, you need to keep calm." Mia's voice crackled over the comms as she got closer. "I'm almost there! Just hold on a little longer." The crowd gasped again as they watched the two ships dance perilously close in the sky. Sarah could hardly breathe, praying that the situation would turn around. "Come on, come on! You can do it!" she urged silently. Just then, Zorath's device caused another surge, and the Blue Falcon began to spiral out of control. Jake's heart raced as he fought the urge to panic. "Focus, focus!" he shouted at himself, trying to remember his training. With one last push, he aimed for a clear space just beyond the edge of the crowd. "Jake, I'm right behind you!" Mia yelled, determined to save her fellow pilot. She activated her ship's emergency systems, ready to assist him in any way she could. The crowd gasped as they witnessed the struggle unfolding before their eyes. With one final effort, Jake managed to pull the Blue Falcon level. He felt the ground rushing up, but he aimed for the open field. "Here goes nothing," he shouted, bracing for impact. The Blue Falcon touched down with a thud, skidding to a halt just feet from the edge of the crowd. Cheers erupted from the spectators, but the tension still hung in the air. Jake had made it, but he could feel the exhaustion washing over him. Mia landed the silver arrow nearby, rushing to Jake's side. "You did it!" she exclaimed, relief flooding her voice. "I knew you could." But Zorath, watching from the shadows, felt his plans unraveling. The humans had survived, and he needed to escape before they noticed him. The demonstration had not ended as he hoped, and he slipped away, leaving only questions behind. As the crowd erupted in applause, Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. "We made it," she whispered, pride swelling in her chest. The demonstration would continue, and humanity had proven its resilience once again. The crowd slowly began to disperse, buzzing with excitement and relief after the dramatic demonstration. Jake Harris emerged from the Blue Falcon, still shaking from the adrenaline and the near disaster. He wiped the sweat from his brow and took a deep breath, grateful to be on solid ground. "Jake!" Sarah Mitchell rushed over, her face a mixture of concern and pride. "You were amazing up there. I can't believe you brought the ship down safely." She clapped him on the back, her smile brightening the moment. Jake chuckled, still catching his breath. "Thanks, Sarah." It was touch and go for a minute there. He glanced back at the Blue Falcon, now surrounded by crew members inspecting it for damage. "But I didn't expect it to go that wild." I thought I was done for. Mia Chen joined them, her expression serious. You did what you had to do, Jake. But we need to figure out what happened with the engine. That surge came out of nowhere. She crossed her arms, her brow furrowed. This isn't just a mechanical issue. The group walked toward the command center, where technicians were already analyzing data from the flight. As they entered, Marcus looked up from his console, excitement still evident in his eyes. I'm glad you're both okay. But we have a problem, he said, his tone shifting from celebratory to urgent. The data shows an energy spike that shouldn't have happened. I think someone tampered with the ship. What do you mean? Sarah asked, concern creeping into her voice. Are you saying this was sabotage? Marcus nodded grimly. Exactly. Someone didn't want the demonstration to succeed. If we don't find out who did this, we could be in big trouble. He turned back to the screen, displaying graphs of the flight data. I'm tracing the signal now. Jake felt a knot tighten in his stomach. The excitement of the demonstration was fading, replaced by unease. Who would want to sabotage us? We're trying to prove ourselves to the Galactic Empire, not harm them. Mia exchanged glances with Sarah. We need to investigate this immediately. The Empire is watching us closely, and we can't afford any more mistakes. Just then, a voice crackled over the intercom. Colonel Mitchell, we have a situation. Security reports that a suspicious individual was seen near the launch site before the demonstration. What kind of individual? Sarah's heart raced. This was getting serious. An alien, possibly from the Zoltor Empire, the voice replied. We're currently reviewing the security footage. Get me that footage, Sarah ordered, her mind racing. We need to know who we're dealing with. As they waited, the tension in the room grew thicker. Jake paced, trying to think of anyone who might want to harm their chances with the Galactic Council. Could it be the Zoltor? They've never been friendly towards us, he suggested, stopping to face Mia and Sarah. It's possible, Mia replied, nodding. They see us as a threat, but we need proof before we can jump to conclusions. Minutes felt like hours as they awaited the footage. Finally, Marcus's face lit up with information. I've got it, he exclaimed. Look at this. He pulled up the video on the screen. The footage showed a figure lurking near the Blue Falcon, their features hidden beneath a dark cloak. There! That's the person! Sarah pointed, her eyes narrowing. What are they doing? The video revealed the figure fiddling with a small device near the ship, just before the demonstration began. That's definitely sabotage, Mia stated, her voice firm. We need to identify them. Marcus fast-forwarded through the footage, trying to catch a clearer view. I'm running facial recognition software. It might take a moment, he said. As they waited, Jake felt a sense of dread wash over him. What if they're still around, he asked. What if they try to attack us again? We need to increase security, Sarah said, her tone resolute. We can't let our guard down now. Everyone needs to stay alert. Finally, Marcus looked up, excitement mixed with anxiety on his face. I found something. The facial recognition software flagged a name. It's Zorath, a known spy for the Zoltor Empire. He's been linked to several sabotage attempts against human vessels. Zorath, Sarah repeated, the name echoing in her mind. I should have known. She turned to her team, determination igniting in her eyes. We need to warn the rest of the fleet and ensure that Zorath doesn't escape. He has vital information about our capabilities. Jake nodded, his heart pounding with a new sense of purpose. Let's set up a perimeter and find him before it's too late. We can't let him ruin everything we've worked for. With a plan in place, the team sprang into action, knowing that the fight for their place in the galaxy was far from over. The storm may have passed, but new challenges loomed on the horizon. As they prepared to face the threat, a sense of unity filled the air. They were ready to defend not just their fleet, but the very essence of humanity itself. The atmosphere in the command center was thick with tension. Jake, Sarah, and Mia moved swiftly, coordinating with their crew to tighten security around the fleet. Every second felt critical, and the weight of responsibility hung heavily on their shoulders. They had come too far to let a saboteur ruin their chance to impress the Galactic Council. Status report, Sarah called out, her voice steady but urgent. She glanced at Marcus, who was tapping furiously at his console. The screens around them displayed various feeds from security cameras and ship diagnostics. Nothing yet, Marcus replied, his brow furrowed. Zorath seems to have vanished, but we're checking every corner of the launch site. Jake paced back and forth, his mind racing. How did he get past security? We need to figure out how he did this before the council arrives. They're not going to wait for us to solve our problems. Just then, an alert beeped loudly, causing everyone to stop. The screen displayed a feed from one of the perimeter cameras, revealing a dark figure slipping through the shadows. "There!" Mia exclaimed, pointing at the screen. "That has to be him!" The team gathered around the monitor, their hearts pounding. The figure moved stealthily, glancing over their shoulder as if aware they were being watched. "We need to intercept him before he gets away," Sarah commanded, her voice sharp with urgency. "Jake, you and Mia take a team and head out. Marcus, stay here and keep tracking him." "On it!" Jake replied, determination flooding his veins. He nodded at Mia, and they quickly gathered a small team of security personnel, arming themselves with stun weapons. As they prepared to leave, Marcus spoke up again. "Wait. Before you go, we've got something important. I'm analyzing Zorath's movements. He seems to be heading toward the engine room of the Blue Falcon. If he gets there, he could do serious damage." Jake's heart raced. "We can't let him reach the engine room. That could jeopardize the entire fleet." He turned to Mia, whose eyes shone with determination. "Let's move quickly. We need to cut him off." With the team behind them, they rushed out of the command center, their footsteps echoing in the hallways. Adrenaline surged as they sprinted toward the Blue Falcon. As they rounded the corner, Jake felt a surge of hope. They were on Zorath's trail, and they wouldn't let him escape. As they approached the engine room, they slowed down, the tension palpable. Jake held up a hand, signaling the team to stop. "We need to be careful. He could be waiting for us." Mia nodded, her eyes scanning the area. "We should split up. If we flank him, we might catch him off guard." Jake agreed, and they quickly assigned positions. He took a deep breath, his heart pounding in anticipation. They moved into their positions, ready to confront Zorath. The seconds stretched into minutes as they waited, silence enveloping them. Just as Jake began to wonder if they had missed him, a loud crash echoed from the engine room. The sound sent shock waves of adrenaline through Jake's body. "Go! Go! Go!" Sarah yelled, and they charged forward, bursting through the doors of the engine room. Inside, they were met with chaos. Tools and parts were scattered across the floor, and Zorath stood in the center, frantically working on the control panel of the ship's engine. He looked up, shock and fear in his eyes as he spotted the team. "You!" Jake shouted, pointing at Zorath. "Stop right there!" Zorath's eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape. Without warning, he grabbed a small device from his pocket and pressed a button. A blinding flash filled the room, followed by a deafening noise that made Jake's ears ring. "Cover your eyes!" Mia yelled, but it was too late. The flash grenade exploded, engulfing the room in chaos. Jake felt the ground shake beneath him, and he stumbled back, momentarily blinded. When the light faded, he blinked rapidly to regain his vision. But Zorath was gone. "No!" "Where did he go?" Jake shouted, panic rising in his chest. They frantically searched the room, but there was no sign of him. "He slipped away." Sarah growled in frustration, her fists clenched. "We were so close." As they regrouped, Marcus's voice crackled over the intercom. "We've lost all visual on Zorath. He's escaped the perimeter." "We need to alert the council and the fleet. He has information about our systems." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. This was a disaster. They had failed to catch Zorath, and now he was free to wreak havoc. The stakes had just become much higher, and the implications of their failure loomed ominously over them. "What now?" Mia asked, her voice steady but her eyes filled with worry. "We regroup, re-strategize, and prepare for whatever comes next," Sarah replied, determination replacing the initial shock. "We cannot let fear control us. We're humans and we've faced worse. We will find him, and we will protect our fleet." As they left the engine room, the weight of the situation pressed down on them. The excitement of the demonstration was now overshadowed by a new threat, one that could change everything. They were on the brink of war, and the real battle was only just beginning. With every step, Jake felt the urgency of their mission grow stronger. The Galactic Empire was watching, and they had to prove that humanity was not to be underestimated. But with Zorath still at large, danger lurked in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.